Hey everybody, Typical Toy Reviews back with a non-typical video. Today we're going to look at my Xbox 360 game collection. I know it's not a toy, but I believe in the past I mentioned I would do some video game stuff as well. And there's just something I like about seeing other people's collections, so I figured I would show mine. A lot of games other people might have, but you might see some games here you never heard of. I pretty much have zero sports titles, and I think there's about 60 games here, hard copies. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump right into it. In no particular order, I guess we'll start on the left, over here behind Howard Duck. Now, these couple games on the end are junk. We got Your Shape Fitness Evolve for the Kinect. There's the Kinect right there, of course, unplugged, so it's not spying on me. That was just something my mom wanted when I got this almost almost 10 years ago. Um, Kinect Adventures, of course, that came with it, but some great games right off the bat. Remember Me, a nice third-person, over-the-shoulder fighting game with a pretty neat story and a very cool rewind time mechanic to it. Azura's Wrath, right next to it, is another third-party fighting game, also with an interesting story and interesting gameplay mechanics. And Lollipop Chainsaw, same thing, third party. I'm no expert, so I might not be describing these exactly right. Lollipop Chainsaw, though, is a quick 5-6 hour game, pretty unique. You're a cheerleader girl who uses a chainsaw to kill zombies. Bayonetta, a lot of people have heard of Bayonetta. Very similar, I would say, these four games as far as play style go, fighting style, kind of button mashy, XY combos, things like that. So those are four great games right off the bat. Deadpool's kind of a hidden gem, shooter, beat 'em up, uh, third person as well. Um, Not a bad game, nothing great. It's got some good humor. If you're a fan of Deadpool before seeing the movies, I think you'll be all right. It's a little bit different than actual Deadpool himself in the movies, though. We got Batman Arkham Asylum, the Game of the Year edition. Not my favorite game. It took me a long time to beat it just because I wasn't really feeling it. And Arkham City, also Game of the Year edition. That game I finally picked up and only took about 6 hours to get through the campaign, but not my favorite games. I know a lot of people like them. I won't bash them. It's just I just couldn't get into them for some reason. Of course, we have your plethora of Call of Duty. You got me there. I said no sports games, but I do have Call of Duty. Call of Duty 2, pretty trash. The campaign is very hard on veteran. Modern Warfare 1, Call of Duty 4, also very hard on veteran. World at War, very good game. I know the lighting kind of sucks here. Modern Warfare 2 next to it, also one of the best. Black Ops 1, fun campaign, pretty good multiplayer. Modern Warfare 3, on the other hand, pretty lousy campaign, pretty average. It was like Modern Warfare 2, but worse. Black Ops 2 redeemed itself with a great multiplayer. Call of Duty Ghosts I got after the fact. That's why it's in a GameStop case. It was like $2. The campaign kind of sucked. I never played the multiplayer. And Advanced Warfare I also got for about $2, but never played it. Then we have its counterpart, Battlefield 4, right next to it. That game I tried to play, but it had the save system corruption, where you'd have to beat the whole game in one try, otherwise you lose your data. Next to that, we have Borderlands 2. I do not have Borderlands 1. Well, actually, I do technically in this 2K triple pack that has Bioshock, Borderlands, and XCOM Enemy Unknown. I picked that up for $1 or $2. Actually, I think it's $3 at a thrift store. So I do have Borderlands 1 on disc. Initially, I had it on digital. But the Borderlands franchise is great, especially if you never played them before. They're all good fun. Borderlands 2 is probably better than 1 in my opinion. Pre-sequel was, again, kind of lackluster, but not a bad game by any means. But definitely pick up the first one if you've never played it. Then that we have that triple pack, Bioshock, Borderlands, and XCOM. I'll get to Bioshock later. I never played XCOM, so I can't say much about it. Then we have another hidden gem here, the Saboteur, in another GameStop generic case. I really hate that I have those, but I guess nobody turned it in with a real case. The Saboteur takes place in Paris, I believe around World War II, so the 40s, possibly a little bit after, and you're a spy, a Scottish spy, trying to crack into, I believe, the Germans. It's been a while since I've played it, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of Assassin's Creed-like. You can scale up buildings. It's black and white, but then as you, uh, what's the word? I'll just say as you purge each area, you get color back. So that's kind of a cool mechanic. And at the end, you get to climb up the Eiffel Tower, and it's actually pretty much this scale. So you're way up in the air. Syndicate, another, I wouldn't say a hidden gem, but it's good fun. It's supposed to be a four-player campaign online, which I bet it would have been a lot better, but the single-player campaign was alright. If you like shooters, I believe it's first person. That's been many years since I played that as well, but I would definitely give that a try. It's pretty cheap. Next to that, we have Payday 2, another very fun game if you have friends. Sadly, I don't. Nobody has ever wanted to buy it. I did have good fun playing it though, even with random people online not communicating. It was a lot tougher, but that would have definitely been a great game. It still is though. I mean, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it has a huge following online on PC. Next to that, BioShock. My probably favorite game of all time would be BioShock 1. BioShock Infinite is right there behind it. BioShock 2, okay, it was fun to play as um, a. You're not a Big Daddy, you're Project Alpha or whatever his name was called, but one of those people. So the 2 wasn't the best. That's probably because I never played the DLC with Minerva's Den and things like that. But BioShock 1, awesome game, first-person shooter, and it combines like different spell elements, kind of. I'll call them kind of like you see in Skyrim. So you can shoot guns and you can shoot bees and frost and flames and things like that. BioShock 2 takes on a little bit different role where you play as what kind of would have been like similar to an enemy in the first game. And BioShock Infinite, great. I know a lot of people don't really like the story for the fact that it doesn't really make sense, but I'll tell you, it made me cry a little bit. I don't play a lot of games over and over, but I played BioShock Infinite at least twice. BioShock was one and done. Maybe in a couple of years I'll pick it back up. Um, Lego Lord of the Rings, fun game for two people. Lego games aren't my style, but it was $2, so I picked it up. Lego the movie game, it's still sealed, but it was $2, so I picked that up at a garage sale. The orange box, I initially wanted Portal, so I asked for Portal for my birthday many years ago, and the guy at GameStop said, it doesn't come in a hard copy, but you can get the orange box, and so my brother got that for me. Team Fortress 2, I never understood it, I didn't like it, even though I have a heavy pop right there. Portal 1, awesome game, puzzle platformer. In first person, very unique as far as I know. What's the other game on there? Half-Life. Half-Life. I guess the orange box comes with Half-Life 1, 2 episodes 1 and 2. I never understood it. I started it up. I had no clue what I was playing. I just played it and it just kept going on and on and on. So I don't know if it was automatically transitioning into the second game or what, but I don't think I ever beat it. I know some people would be mad at that, but it wasn't a bad game. It was just pretty dated for me to be able to enjoy. Then we have Portal 2, the co-op version of Portal 1. Obviously, you can still play the single player, but it's very fun if you have a cooperative friend. My friend thought it would be funny to ruin pretty much every puzzle we were doing, which was fun on its own, but it's definitely better if you have two people that are willing to cooperate. After that, we have Oblivion, Elder Scrolls, was that 4? And then Skyrim 5. Back when Skyrim came out, I couldn't afford it, so I got Oblivion while my friends were playing Skyrim. It was a great game, tons of hours, over 100 hours into that game, and I just thought it was too similar to play Skyrim after that. Especially playing Dark Souls, they're all kind of similar games, in my opinion. Obviously, there's some big differences. Third person, third person, first person. You can play Skyrim in third or first, but no big deal. Halo Reach, the best Halo, probably since 3, being that it came out right after it. I don't know which one came first, ODST, but Halo Reach, tons and tons of fun. The campaign is great. You could play it single player, you could play it co-op. Either way, it's awesome. And the multiplayer had some of the funnest multiplayer in any Halo game ever, from doing Forge custom maps, things like speed, and the Toilet Bowl game, Avalanche, stuff like that. My guy Darth Human made a lot of great maps, and those hours and hours of fun on there. Even just playing SWAT and Infection was awesome. Halo 4, not so great. The campaign was not awesome. Multiplayer was very, very basic. Now behind Handsome Jack here from Borderlands. Carefully move him as his head almost comes off. We have Destiny. Uh, I don't know a lot about Destiny. I always thought it was supposed to be like attached to the Halo universe somehow, because I remember they had Master Chief wearing that cloak like a Forgotten Knight or something, and I thought he was into Destiny, but my copy doesn't work for some reason. Can't get past the menu screen, so I never played it. Then we have Resident Evil 6 Archives. Included on there is Resident Evil 5 for Veronica Codex, Veronica, something like that, and some kind of DVD. Resident Evil 6, I'm not going to say it's a good game. It got very, very boring after a while, playing the same missions over and over again as each different character, and it was very dark. It was okay, but it just wasn't great. Now, Resident Evil 5, I had a lot of fun with farming people just to get the weapon upgrades and things like that. Yeah, it was mostly a shooter. It wasn't a scary zombie game. I won't say it was, but it was definitely a great fun. Pretty fun with two people as well. I went through that campaign a few times. Resident Evil 4, definitely my favorite. I played it way back on the GameCube, and that's the main reason why I bought this. I think I played it about 3 times and ended up doing like a quasi speed run. I beat the game in like 3 hours, I think, just running through with the typewriter. Um, but yeah, that's great. I think I paid like $35 for that sealed though. It's kind of hard to find cheap. But I did play Resident Evil 1, like the original. I played the remastered version on the Xbox, and man, just when I thought I was done with the game, I was watching a playthrough to try to figure a part out, and this guy had like a 2 hour playthrough, and he was at the part I was at after about 15 hours at only around the hour mark. So I said, man, if I have another half of this game, I'll never be able to complete it. So I kind of gave up with that at the Shark Room. It just wasn't my style as well. Like it was cool, it was kind of fun once I got into it, but then it got boring, running back and forth and back and forth. But that's part of the charm of a survival horror. Next to Resident Evil 6, we have Alien Isolation, the Nostromo edition. Not that it matters. That game has a lot of hype. Actually, right next to it, The Evil Within. Those two games both came out in October as huge AAA horror titles. The Alien Isolation, I think, got more praise. Evil Within kind of went under the radar for a lot of reasons. I didn't like Alien Isolation. I thought it was very tedious, very boring, not scary. Yes, there were some tense moments, but the more reason it was scary is because I was pissed that my checkpoint was so far back and I'd have to redo something, and I was scared of dying. The alien itself was not scary after the first couple hours. Even the robot people that would beat on you were probably more scarier just because you were defenseless. But I feel that's kind of a cop out. The horror really wasn't there after a while. But I did push through and beat the game. It was pretty okay. I mean, if you're a huge fan of the Alien series, I think you would definitely like it. Now, The Evil Within, I actually liked better than Alien Isolation. Third-person horror shooter. Supposed to be survival horror, but again, it becomes very actiony, kind of like Resident Evil 5. But the beginning of the game was awesome, just pure dread and horror for the first hour, 2 hours. After that, again, not as scary of a game as you got stronger weapons, more ammo, and you weren't as worried about things. But definitely a great game. I did play the Evil Within 2 down there. Fun game, but I almost hated it at the start because of how they changed some things. But that's for another topic. Next to it, Left 4 Dead, great party game, 4-player co-op online as well. Very boring in single player. Not a lot of fun there. That's definitely, you have to have at least 2 people to enjoy that game, in my opinion. It's hard in single player and boring and lonely. Left 4 Dead 2, I played single player and it was dreadful. I got through the campaign and that was it. Only reason I bought it because it was $8 on Black Friday. Far Cry 3, another one of my favorite games. Very cool as far as story goes. It's not like a good story, but it's just fun the way you interact. And that was one of the first games where it was open world that I captured and liberated every camp. I did every side mission. I think I got like every tattoo and stuff and all the guns and everything, so that was great fun there. You can put about 25 hours into that game easy. Far Cry 4, not as good as Far Cry 3, but Pagan Min's a good enemy, even though he's kind of questionable an enemy. Um, pretty good. Far Cry 5, on the other hand, down here, it kind of went downhill. 3, great. 4, 5, kind of trash. It wasn't terrible. I got through the game, but after a while, it just got very boring as well, being tedious. Okay, you got to get 13,000 points or whatever before you unlock the boss, and I don't want to do these missions. I just want to get through the game, that kind of thing, because it got very repetitive after a while. Crackdown 2, awesome game, another free roam game, kind of like GTA, but with superpowers in a way. When you upgrade your suit and you can jump super high, you can run faster than cars. Very fun. Crackdown 3, I downloaded it on Game Pass because I got that $2 Game Pass deal, and it kind of sucks. It's just like Crackdown 2, but worse. Not worth the investment, but if you did get Game Pass, you can check it out, I guess. Crysis 2, I heard a lot about. Your PC can run Crysis, mine can. Crysis 2, yeah, it was fun. It was an okay game. Crysis 3, nothing special at all. It felt like another shooter. Not nearly as good as the second game. Never played the first one though. Stuntman Ignition, very cool. You're a Hollywood stuntman and you have to go through these different scenes and execute different moves in your vehicle. Just a fun game, quick game to get through. I got that from a friend. Project Gotham Racing 3 was one of my first racing games that I got, I think at a rummage sale. It was cool in the aspect that it had a garage that you could walk around in, and you could have this 10-car garage, and you could actually look at your supercars, which is something these other games here need to pick up on. We're on Forza Horizon 4 now, and there's still nothing like that. So that game was kind of ahead of its time with that. Midnight Club LA, which what really got me into racing games on the 360. I used to play on the PS2 with Dub Edition. I think even Midnight Club 1, Need for Speed, Underground. I don't know if I had 1 or 2. Yeah, Underground 1 over there, Midnight Club. Dub Edition. Hold on, let me take a peek over here. Midnight Club was one of the first ones. I used to always see this guy at like Rite Aid. Yeah, this is Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix, and this is Midnight Club LA, which I think almost falls in line with 3. Awesome games for customization and things like that, and it actually had a pretty good online following. Before that, I played Need for Speed Most Wanted on my brother's 360, the good version. No, it was on the Xbox, the regular Xbox. That's right, because it doesn't. I don't think it works on the 360. Because the 360 version is really expensive. I digress. Anyways, I lost my save file. It corrupted. So tons of hours of work going. And I'm noticing this video is getting really lengthy here, so I'm going to try to speed it up. Forza Motorsports 4, I got after Horizon. I hate track racing games, and the physics in that game are so weird. The only reason I bought it is because it had my real life car in the game, and then it turns out that it was a DLC, and the DLC was inactive by the time I got it. So I spent $14 and didn't even get to use my car. Forza Horizon 1, one of the funnest racing games of all time. Mostly open world. It does have boundaries, but you're not bound to just doing track races like you do in Forza Motorsports. Good selection of cars, pretty good customization, and it was awesome playing playground games back when that game first came out. Prototype 1 and 2, always wanted to play, never got around to them, but they were part of a sale, so they're in the collection. GTA 5, kind of a love-hate relationship. The campaign's cool, it's fun, it's interesting. My brother told me that you could be a robot with machine guns on it. And so I played the game and it was not in there. And then he told me after, well, I just wanted to get you to play it. So I told you that. He bought it though because he lived in LA for a time, and that's where the game is based. And there's a lot of resemblance to the real world LA, so that's very cool. But the multiplayer was a grind. And I didn't get an Xbox One fast enough, so they turned off player transfer. And so if I wanted to start over, it'd be level 0 again on the Xbox One, so that kind of sucks. Walking Dead Telltale, one of Telltale's first games, as far as I know. Maybe not the company, but in this series. Very good. Even if you don't like The Walking Dead, it's hardly related to the TV show, and it'd probably be better if you didn't know about the TV show. Kind of a tearjerker, very interesting. You really get invested in the characters with this one. I didn't play the ones after them, but I heard they're not as great, and it's kind of a good thing, I guess, since the season 3 or 4 will never get finished. Next to that, we have Tales from the Borderlands. I would say this one's arguably better than The Walking Dead. It does have a lot of glitches and stuff. That's mostly probably the Xbox 360 version. On PC, it was fine. If you played Borderlands, you'll love this game. I bet even if you didn't, you could probably still find it enjoyable, but there's a lot of the same humor that comes from the Borderlands game, and there's some crossover characters, but that's a very awesome Telltale. I played that one 2 or 3 times. LA Noire, never played it. A little too lengthy, a little too boring in my opinion. I watched my friend play it, but I did pick it up just to have in the collection. Red Dead, for the longest time, I hated this game for some reason. I had a vendetta out against it. I played it, it was pretty fun, but it was most of I just want to play this game to get it out of the way. Skipped most of the side missions. But then I ended up going back and doing some, and like, you know what, this was pretty enjoyable. Wolfenstein, I believe this is the New Order. Yep, always wanted to play that game. Not bad, pretty quick, first-person shooter, good graphics. A couple of years old now. I don't think I'll get another Wolfenstein, but it was a fun experience. Nicktoons MLB Baseball, I got that because my friend likes MLB, and he absolutely swamped me in that game, so I'll never play it again. And then we have Dead Space 1, 2, and 3. Dead Space 1, very scary when you play it alone. Now, and that's coming from somebody who would say these other games, Alien Isolation's not scary, Evil Within's not scary, Resident Evil's not scary. Dead Space is actually genuinely scary because it really is a true survival horror. Low ammunition, you gotta conserve your resources. Dark, but it's not dark where you can't see stuff. It's dark because it's scary atmosphere, and you have like a flashlight on your gun. Sporadic enemies, random jump scares, and tasteful jump scares. Unlike what I hear that's in Dead Space 3, where they kind of throw them on you like, "Oh, this is scary." Dead Space was genuinely scary. Dead Space 2, it went kind of downhill. Very much the same gameplay, same environment and things like that, and it's predictable, not as great. And I haven't played the third one yet. I hear it's not very good. It does have co-op campaign, but my friend refuses to buy it, so it's going to be, forever before I get to Dead Space 3, because I finally did buy the Xbox One, beat Dark Souls 3, Little Nightmares, Final Fantasy 15, super boring. I didn't get past Chapter 5. I still have Sunset Overdrive, Batman Telltale, beat Far Cry 5, Evil Within 2, Mad Max, that's a pretty cool game. Game of Thrones Telltale, also great if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, even if you aren't. Very, very fun game. Mirror's Edge Catalyst, nowhere near as good as the first one. And then I have Shaq Fu still to get to. And then this is just my hard copy. Oh, there's Fusion Frenzy over there. Great party game, alternate to Mario Party. It's like a Microsoft's attempt at a Mario Party game. Real quick, I probably have about 100 digital titles just from collecting games with gold over the years, and a couple things I bought, things like Mirror's Edge, Civilization Revolution, the 2013 Tomb Raider, Alan Wake American Nightmare. Like I said, there's a couple Resident Evil games. Hard to think of on the spot. It sounds like a lot of games, but yeah. But yeah, that's it. I just wanted to share my collection. If anybody stuck through the whole thing, you're awesome. Like I said, just kind of a overview. It's just something I like to do is watch other people's collections, see what they think of their stuff. And this also substitute is a nice video to show you what's on this shelf if you want to see a review of anything on here. I apologize for droning on. I hope it wasn't too shaky and this video was somewhat enjoyable. And maybe you'll check out one of the titles that I talked about. If anything piqued your interest, just let me know in the comments. And that's really cool if I help somebody find a new game or get into something new. But again, thanks for watching, guys. If anyone's stuck